Hello, Pioneers, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Candle Close News. Sending you all much love and high vibrations out to wherever you are in this matrix and galaxy right now. We see lately that crypto is headed in another downtrend, and we see everybody across all crypto, Twitter, and social media screaming that we're heading into a bear market. And I'm just here to remind you all to take a deep breath with me, will you? Inhale all of the love and peace and all of the calmness, and then exhale all of the fear and worry that's keeping you trapped in that lack mindset. You see, all that does is make you fear and worry even more, Pioneers. You can't control these markets and you can't control life. But what you can control is how you're going to respond and react while investing in these markets or while living your life. Attention goes where energy flows. And where's your energy flowing, Pioneers? Is it flowing into becoming an experienced investor or the best that you can be? Because you turn into what you tune into. And we're in a world right now where people need to realign their moral compass and unlock the great I am that lies dormant within each and every one of us. We are not in a world where we should be watching our TikToks and our sporting events and our WAP videos. You see, change never happens by trusting in the majority's lack or the latest popular thing. You see, most people, they get stuck in the outcome instead of getting stuck in the process and building a craft and a skill that will get them to that outcome. We have to evolve, but we have to want to evolve and then work hard so that we're able to evolve, Pioneers. So if you're a pioneer that can resonate and embrace the great I am within you, then you're a gem. So shine like one, okay? Don't allow someone else to put you in this lack mindset when you're manifesting abundance, okay? I'm not here to make good content. I'm only here to make art or something educational that teaches someone something. So after watching what I do, maybe they can walk away with something that they can use personally in their day-to-day lives so that they don't have to be reliant on me or someone else, just themselves. I want to push people to unlock their own truth and not be on the bandwagon of mine or someone else. You can know all there is to know about technical analysis and reading the charts or about decoding and symbology, but if you don't have the stomach and mindset to be an investor, then there isn't a course in the world that's going to help you, Pioneers. So again, if you've watched this work recently and stated, and seen some of the things we've stated going back several months now, all the way back until January 24th in this time period, and since, we've went over a lot of key things in these videos, and I've prepared you all for a possible 33K Bitcoin again. And that's coming surprisingly right after 33 days since our April 5th, Satoshi Nakamoto's 47th birthday. So this 33-day span leading into another 33K Bitcoin, filling in these previous wicks of February 24th, the day we saw Russia-Ukraine start the World War III narrative on the world stage, going all the way back into January 24th, being the first 24th day of the year. A very important time period. We know we're in the year of Jupiter, and all this 24 volatility on February 24th, January 24th was tying us back into the Jupiter logo this year, the 24. So when we look at this from February 24th, we saw leading into yesterday, or May the 4th be with you, where we got our rejection from our 2-year trend line we followed here on the Daily Candle Close News. Leading into this 33K Bitcoin, we saw that was a 69K top, or a 69 day difference. A 69-day period. On the 70th day, we know we're in the Shemitah year. That Shemitah year gives us that 70 right there. So we saw a downtrend coming in after 70 days all the way back to our recent low, and we've been filling in these wicks ever since. And that's something I just wanted to reiterate. This is something we brought up to you all quite some time ago on the Daily Candle Close News when we drew a bars pattern, basically copied and pasted this time period right here. And we were able to drag that over and show some possible filling in of wicks that we could see take place. And we have seen that. Obviously, it's a lot longer than what I thought it could be, but that's important. Maybe it's leading into a larger pump. That's pretty much hopium right now, and that's something I don't like to give you on the Daily Candle Close News. But when we, remember this bars pattern, we can tell that we came down here and we filled in these two previous wicks back in May after our May 19th double eclipse period that led into June and July lows before seeing a 69K top. So again, the 69 70-day period right here, very symbolic as well. We know Bitcoin hit a 69K top back in November. So all this is very important and something we're paying attention to. We know we're still holding support of our 236 and our January 24th lows of around 32K. So 32K right now is something we'll need to continue to hold support of, or we're going to fall back down into these clusters of lows right here around 29, 30K that we're going to need to hold support of. Or we're looking at another story that we'll have to come back out and talk about if we see lows and daily candles close below 29.1, below 29K period. So that's something we'll keep in mind. We know we're seeing clear signs of definite contraction in these markets right now, causing this extreme fear across, again, all social medias, crypto, Twitter, etc. All unexperienced, unsophisticated market traders. We know this is leading into a Saturday and Sunday yesterday and the day before. So seeing this low come in right here at around the 7th and 8th, leading into Mother's Day, which was yesterday, Sunday, it's not surprising. We know Mother's Day 2022 gives us that 58, and we know that 58 is very important. It ties us back into remote control, puppet master, some very important things. The Tetragrammaton. Ultimately, it ties us back into Mercury retrograde, which is coming up tomorrow. A very important time period for these markets that we talk about, and something we'll go over in our technical analysis video today as well. It also, this 58 ties us back into our number one holding, XRP. So it's amazing to see this volatility around Mother's Day leading into Saturday and Sunday. We know this is unsophisticated leverage traders. There's no institutions trading, no accredited investors in these markets right now. They're all kicked back on the weekend. They got buy orders set and they got sell orders set. They got buy walls and sell walls. That is it. They're kicked back, relaxed until today. We know Chicago Mercantile Exchange opened up last night, and we seem to have pumped lower since, another 2% low, taking us back down to 33.3 right now. That 333 number we've been going over in some previous videos. So that's pretty important to see this confluence add in work to, this number of 33,300 adding confluence to some of the work we've gone over. That's basically tying us back into the language of angels. And that's a very important language that we speak here on the Daily Candle Close News with a gangster dialect. So again, all of this is just very exoteric when we pay attention to the investing and technical analysis thesis that we've built here. We've known that we can fill in these wicks, and that's not surprising. To see this possible spring being set in structure is something we've talked about as well. So we'll go ahead and delete some of this and get it off the screen and continue on with this video. We know tomorrow is a 2-month and 2-year, a 22-year and 2-month connection to the dot-com bubble. Something we'll also be speaking about in this video is the comparison to the time periods economically that we're seeing since this 2000 time period. We know March 10th back in 2000 was the dot-com bubble crash. On March 10th, we saw when we added that date up, it gave us a date numerology of 33, and we spoke about that 33 in this 70. This was the 70th day of the year in 2000. So very important that we make these connections to everything we're witnessing this year. In the year of the water tiger giving us that 33, we're in the year of the tiger giving us that 15, and we're in the Shemitah year giving us that 70, the 7-year sabbatical cycle. So very important. Tomorrow giving us a 57 in date numerology when we add that up, being a 22-year and 2-month connection. We know we get this 222 in order out of chaos, 222. So very important. Something I've recently brought up is how we know this 57 day that added up to 57 on December 4th, 2021, it gave us 57. It was a sell-off. We know Rosh Hashanah, which was 9/7/2021. When we added that up, it gave us 57. And most importantly, that is, a sell-off day right here. So we've recently made another connection in one of my past videos to another day that we saw a sell-off in the markets that added up to 57. So we'll pay attention to that tomorrow as well. We know that ultimately brings us back into the society of Jesus. Wow. Sorry, you guys. Giving us that 57. So we'll pay attention to that important connection tomorrow, being a 57-day, 22-year and 2-month connection to the dot-com bubble crash. We want to keep in mind that we want to learn how to navigate these markets, not just financially, but emotionally as well. So it's important to remember that none of us want to be in a market for the short term or for a short amount of time. It's about time in the market and not timing the markets. Opportunity lies where others are afraid to react. And when we see that there's extreme fear in the market, I know that this is when the uncommon 1% take advantage of these markets. They don't trip, they buy the dip. Not financial advice, but we're seeing the inflation that I've warned about for the last 2 years finally start to hit these markets over the last 4 and 5 months, bringing us to lows once again in the structure. And we are very closely correlated to the dot-com bubble, just like I said before, and we're on the precipice of seeing the largest liquidity shakeout in history, probably within the next 6 months to a year. This year is not the year to be unprepared financially, mentally, emotionally, etc. And I hope after almost 3 years of preparing you for this moment, you're ready, pioneers. But with this extreme fear in these markets over the weekend, when retail is the only trader in town, I'm not really worried about what this market is showing us right now. So hopefully with all this I'm talking about, you're not getting scared or worried about what's to come. I'm still one of the only ones that still believes we could see a 72K Bitcoin and blow off top and price discovery for this market. And until we see otherwise, I'm going to continue to prepare all my pioneers for that possibility. And if you've seen the exit strategy and blueprint, then you've seen the 3 scenarios that we could possibly witness for this cryptocurrency Bitcoin, leading into the possible scenarios for all other altcoins. So hopefully you've enjoyed that and you're ready as well. But when we learn how to react to this market in a more sophisticated manner, then it's able to prepare us for any and everything possible. But with what we're seeing recently in the charts, with this overreactive period leading all the way back into the Fed's recent FOMC meeting, none of this is surprising to me. We saw that day lead into this May 4th, May the 4th be with you, and a sell-off. I'm not surprised that the Feds wanted to come in and be the hero in the beginning of the month right here. And back here on Thursday, May the 4th be with you. That's not surprising to me because, that was Wednesday leading into the Fed's FOMC meeting. I'm not really sure when it took place. I just know it was around this time period, and to see this overreactive time period bringing us back into our RSI that is not wanting to show up. When we look at the RSI, we see it's now I've got two. We're down here at this oversold, underbought territory once again, and I'm not saying we can't go lower than this, but we definitely want to set a higher low in structure than this 20 we've set going back to January 21st, the 21st, 22nd of the time of the month, that very important time period. So we'll continue to pay attention to this, but this is something we aren't surprised at seeing. We know we tend to revisit the lows when we recently hit highs. Around Satoshi Nakamoto's 47th birthday, we hit 47K and got rejected from the top side of this trend line. We know we were reaching the apex of this and we were looking for a breakout. I see this as a shakeout, fake out, and a V-bottom recovery coming back in the next few days. Tomorrow being the, Tuesday, 510, drop the 0, you get the 51, you get in Mars. Tomorrow's the day of Mars, Martes. I see tomorrow and Wednesday being a very important time period, starting Mercury in retrograde tomorrow, leading into June 2nd and the banking holiday. I could see this as a very volatile time period, a straight up pump for damn near 3 weeks possibly. We've seen it happen before. It could be the parabolic blow off top and price discovery that we've so longed for 4.5 years now. We know we've broken a 4-year cycle, and this is all just something to be in consideration of, to possibly keep in our minds that May could be the time period where we sell in May and walk away, leading into June and July lows. An ABC correction, if this is true, and Mercury in retrograde just brings in important time period to these markets. So we'll pay attention to that moving forward. But something that I wanted to continue to go over was, breaking down how right now it doesn't matter if we're right or wrong. This market is extremely volatile, and this is an important year that we don't know what's going to happen. All that matters is, are we safe, when we're in a market like this? Being right doesn't feel that good, So, people are probably about to be homeless if I'm right about this. And, it's not great to be aware of a huge crash like this. It's sad to see people so unaware that they're about to get priced out of so much. It's definitely good to be aware, but there's too much pompous quality of this analyst side of being right and wrong. Everyone who's right is just safe. That's all that matters. Who cares about being right when we're watching the world collapse? It definitely doesn't feel good. Do people really deserve to be washed out like this? I know very beautiful people that work hard for everything they've got, and they might not be as conscious as to what's going on the world stage, but they're still family. They're still with us, and we can call them names or say whatever they want or whatever we want, but I definitely feel that pain. Whether or not people resonate with that or whatever, then, I'm doing my part. That's all that matters. And I'm trying to humble myself and step away from this duality consciousness, etc., of right and wrong. As the whole world enters this depressed state and a possible recession, then, I'm trying to be spiritually in tune at a level of consciousness where I can protect myself and just, be safe. Remember, a market is all about energy harvesting, and we're seeing that take place right now. And, it doesn't feel that awesome to be right and prepare my pioneers for a 33K Bitcoin only to see some of them ask me, why is crypto dumping? Well, they're not watching the work, pioneers. It's not about knocking on people's doors and saying, hey, the stock market's going to crash in the next 6 months, etc. Because we're in the Shemitah year. It's just about you being in tune with what's going on here and not being so focused on right or wrong or good and bad, etc. That duality, consciousness, awareness is what sets you free. And if you're here to become an investor, then this is definitely something that's going to be important for you to remember if you're going to be here for the long term. And it'll help you continue to be here for the long term if you keep your head wrapped around these very important things. So we'll go ahead and continue to break down the importance of why we're continuing to see this $33,334 Bitcoin is what I just saw. 4 threes. But it's all right here in the code. Today is 5/9. We know that's the year of the tiger. We get that 59 in tiger. We'll connect this back to Rosh Hashanah last year for you all, instead of making this such a long connection. But this being a very important 56 day, when we add this day up today in numerology, we know we get that 56 and so many very important things, tying us back into the time period of, 2 years ago when we saw the whole world shut down. We saw that the bottom of the structure in the markets came in on a 56 date numerology. So all this is very esoteric and important when we pay attention. We know this 56 is very important. We get that 56 in coronavirus, mind control, BTC, the ticker symbol for Bitcoin, gives us that 56. Some other cryptocurrencies do as well. But very important. We'll pay attention to this today. It could be a bottoming in structure. We could possibly dip down to these previous lows and be bought right back up. Who knows? We could see our bottom come in today on 5/9 and start being bought right back up today, leading into tomorrow, Tuesday, the day of Mars, and Wednesday. We know the market makers tend to like to have this market back in the direction they want it to go by Wednesday. So, today, tomorrow being a 5-6 day time period before our next full moon, it's not surprising to see this energy come into the markets as well. We know the full moons are typically bearish. So this is all very important and something I wanted to bring up. So this is all leading into tomorrow again, 57, that 5-7 being the 130th day of the year. We drop to 0, we get the 13. We're in the 13-year anniversary of Bitcoin. So very important. We're in the 19th week of the year. So again, this 56 today and yesterday, the 55 we got in Mother's Day, tying us back into C19. The day we got the world shut down, our last day of normality was March 10th, connection to the dot-com bubble 21 years prior. Last day of normality was March 10th. So C19, the world shut down on a 55 date numerology. So all very important of paying attention to this esoterically. But so we could see a low come in structure right here today, possibly, if this was to match this C19 time frame when viewing the charts. We come back and we look 2 years ago, we saw our low come in the structure right here on 3/12, March 12th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, before being bought right back up for 2 years, and ultimately led to this year-long sideways horizontal trading period that we're in right now. So again, not surprising to see this wick and these wicks be closed in, you guys. This is bringing us back down to lower levels of the RSI, ultimately still holding a higher low right now. So all very important. In structure, we're still holding a higher low. So until we fall back below that 29K, that's, indicative of me showing we're going to continue to hold structure. We've done it for a year and a half, almost. So very important. So again, with Mercury in retrograde starting tomorrow, it's a very important time period. We know these are usually a sideways boring period leading into a pump, or just a straight out pump for almost 3 weeks. So esoterically, I'm paying attention to this May 10th to June 2nd, our banking holiday. That's when our banking jubilee starts. So this is a very important time period, and we've witnessed a lot of downtrend in these markets for 5 months now almost, and it's been very scary. And it's ultimately just got a lot of retail uninterested in cryptocurrency. So I see this time period as to possibly getting a lot of people very interested in cryptocurrency again, but possibly after a lot of currencies are up 20, 30, 50, 100x in, a matter of 24 hours plus. So we'll have to continue to see how this time period plays out moving forward. Probably going to go ahead and get straight into some more technical analysis and just go from there and share with you all my thoughts on what we're doing and where we are moving forward. I've kind of just wanted to go ahead and start this video off with just getting back into the flow of things after the last few days, seeing what's taking place, the sentiment in the markets, and just kind of making some connections. But it's important to just remember that we're here for years. Nothing that happens this year, next year, the year after matters if we're thinking about this as an investor, not a trader. So, we know that this has been retail pushing these prices where it's been, and it's been over the weekend. There's been no institution, no market makers trading in this market. It's just running off the algorithm and letting retail play the game. So, we've possibly got this returning back to lows and structure that I've already reiterated in this video, but that will be our next liquidity zone between 29 and 30,000 where we must hold. If this washout was to continue to take place this week, then I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. But the problem is, if Bitcoin was to wash out like that, then we're probably headed into a possible ABC correction. We could possibly dip down below and then see an automatic buy up of, prices all the way back up to this 236. And if we were to get rejected from our trend line of 2 years dating back to C19 as well as this 236, then we could possibly see this continue to break structure even lower, back down to around 27, 26K. So something very important to keep in mind as well. If we cannot hold this area right here, then it's gonna be a sign of issues, and we're gonna have to continue to have that conversation moving forward. But if we continue to just not get lost in the sauce and pay attention to the investment thesis that we're building and the work that we've done over the last several months, then we knew that this time period was possible and that this was super ideal for anybody who examines Wyckoff and a potential spring being set in structure, which is ultimately a bullish recovery, a V-bottom recovery in structure. So, I'm not going to show you the timing of this, but it could, again, be very important to seeing a possible spring getting set into structure, and that would be coming down and setting a lower low than where we did right here before getting bought right back up. And that would possibly lead this low all the way into September, October, around the end of Rosh Hashanah, or the start of Rosh Hashanah this year, and the end of the Shemitah that started last year. So I'm not trying to throw that out there as this is what's going to happen. It's just a possibility, and something that I've been talking about lately is this possible spring that we could set in structure. Right now, I still think we're going to hold this low and hopefully recover from here. This is just a shakeout, fake out. And we could see 41K again in the near distant future. This 19th week of the year puts us 35% through the new year, the 2022 year. So we're only a few weeks away from being 41% through the entire year. So we know how important this 41 number is and how it's played in and tied into some very important things we've gone over recently. So this moment right here is probably going to be very quick if it was to recover like this. But if it was to happen, then it's definitely pretty important. It's probably got a lot to do with this Mercury in retrograde time period that we're starting to transition into starting tomorrow. So on the ultra downside, I guess we could talk about the 200 week moving average, and that will take us where's it at? Right down here. Right there around that 25K. So, that's not surprising. We've seen that 200 week moving average come into play time and time again. But it ultimately signals the start of a bear market. And that's something we need to pay attention to, seeing as how we fell below this 111-day moving average. If we can't continue to hold this 111-day moving average and get back above that, then that's a possible, target range that we can consider on the weekly time frame. That 24,000 area for Bitcoin, that would be possibly setting a spring in structure, and we'd hope that this would be a short-lived time period, a V-bottom recovery over a span of probably 56 days plus or minus. So very important that we pay attention to this, that 24,000 range in the year of the tiger, the year of Jupiter, this esoteric 24 in symbology. So today's video has definitely been something very different, and probably just going to go ahead and leave it there, you guys. I think I went over enough and gave you all enough sneak peek of what's possibly to come in the next few days while we're seeing this downtrend. And it's almost 5 a.m. and I've got to get ready to go to work. So we know the full moon and the flower moon is coming up, and that's something I wanted to go over as well. We know that the flower moon gives us that very important 55, a number we've gone over for quite some time here on the Daily Candle Close News. This 134 that ties us into Ripple XRP. So we'll pay attention to the full flower moon that's coming up. The full flower moon giving us that 70, and we're in the year of the Shemitah. So all very important. We know April showers could bring us May flowers. So as we get ready to transition into this total lunar eclipse, I'm paying attention right here. It's all tying us back into Mercury, giving us that 103. Mercury gives us that 103, and that's the 27th prime number. Very important. We know that ties us into Jupiter, giving us that 27. We're in the year of Jupiter, the year of the tiger. Bitcoin gives us 72. So we're paying attention to this full lunar eclipse right here in May, and it's again that full lunar eclipse. Total lunar eclipse is the full flower moon. It's all tying us back into Mercury, and we're in Mercury. We're going to be in Mercury in retrograde starting tomorrow for the next several weeks. So that's something very important. Mercury retrograde is giving us that 58. Very important. That 101, which is the 11th prime number, or the 26th prime number. Just very important. All something I wanted to bring up right here, because we've been making these connections to this Mercury being the controller of commerce, because that's what Mercury is. It is the god of commerce. So we'll pay attention to this right here moving forward, but don't get lost in all the sauce, you guys. Pay attention to the fundamental thesis we're building here on the Daily Candle Close News, and you'll be able to look at XRP on the weekly hitting that 200 moving average, exponential moving average. That is bullish, you guys. We want to hold that as support. Right now we're below that. So we're accumulating this 55 cent with this 54 cent XRP. Okay, we don't hang out in these areas long. So hopefully this is showing confluence right here as to what's possible to come for Bitcoin, etc. moving forward. We know XRP has been suppressed for almost 5 years. So this $1.30 range, $1.40 range is still in the cards for me in the future. We don't care when, and we don't care how long it takes to get there. We're going to continue to dollar cost average into this investment, just like VeChain, etc. So with all that being said, I'm going to leave this video here, and just hopefully you enjoyed it, you guys. Take care. God bless.